just do a clap. Clap on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I was late.
Hey everybody, I'm Melanie, and this is my dad.
Carlos.
And, well, we don't have a name for our podcast yet. Introduce yourself, who you are.
Hey, hello everybody. So I just want to welcome everybody to our inaugural podcast. So I just want to introduce myself. Like I said, I'm Carlos. I'm a longtime collector. From when I was a kid, I always liked, sports collectibles, characters, figurines, and things like that. Between myself and Melanie, we always have some interesting conversations when it comes to the Marvel Universe, DC, or just, good crime dramas. And we share a lot of points and counterpoints, which just make up a good conversation.
My name is Melanie, and we decided to start a podcast because we watch a lot of TV and we watch a lot of movies. And personally, I am in the film industry, so I am mainly an editor. So yeah, this is a special interest for me.
We just wanted to put something together and see how we go for that from there, and then we'll see how everything goes,
If we talk about things that we have already seen and we're talking about spoilers, we will let y'all know. And sometimes we may not always be watching something that's like brand new. Today, we're gonna get started with kind of more recent things, recent news. And I think the biggest topic that everyone's talking about right now, especially us too, is Madam Web.
Madam Web. So I know there was talk even before the movie came out that it was not going to be that great of a movie because of who actually made the movie was just people from Morbius. So the expectations was not there, but for me anyway, but I was waiting to be pleasantly surprised and I wasn't at all.
Well, I first started this conversation with I'm gonna say at least 2 positive things that I thought about it. And when I was thinking about it, I will say that it was really hard to come up with positive things. I will say, which we'll come to this, but whenever we did see any type of costumes, I'm all about costumes, hair, and makeup. I'm trying to see the diva, I'm trying to see it and be like, yes, girl. And so when they were in the costumes, when Sydney Sweeney came up, upside down, that was really cool. But those moments in the film are flashes into the future. I think one of the biggest mistakes they did was not give us these girls in costumes.
Yeah, it was definitely disappointing. I was halfway expecting for, a little bit more action with those characters than what we actually got. It's unfortunate, for this movie, I think it was right after the writers' strike ended, right?
Is that when they started writing it?
I don't know, but it seems like...
Or shooting it.
It seems like the people who wrote that movie should probably, I don't know, go back on unemployment or something.
Well, maybe they should go into director's jail a little bit, or writer's jail. Because if it was the same people who made Morbius, they should have been put on a timeout. And I didn't see it on Valentine's Day, but I did see it opening weekend. And one thing I would suggest is, well, if you drink, have a drink or 2 before the movie and then get a beer at the movie, and you'll probably have a good time. You'll laugh and stuff. Our theater was definitely laughing at, especially me, I laugh at all kinds of moments that are not supposed to be funny, but I was cracking up laughing, especially when it came to the villain.
Yeah, the villain was just terrible. This guy, I guess, we looked him up. He's a decent actor. I don't really know of any of his roles because he's a French actor. So, but apparently he has a few awards, for acting and you want to give him those props, but at the same time, I mean, what he showed. I mean, anyway, there was a waste of talent on this whole movie, and since we started with him as the antagonist. It wasn't a very good job. I let Melanie talk to you about about.
So, okay, in our notes here we have terrible villain. His name was Tahar Rahim, and from what we can see, he seems to be a French actor, and he seems to have like a good amount of acting awards and everything. And I'm just wondering what exactly happened in the filming of all of this, because if you haven't heard about this by now, pretty much it seems like all of his lines are re-recorded in what we call ADR. It's pretty much when you just like re-record the lines in the booth and try to match it exactly to what you shot. And it seemed like they did that for the entire movie. And I swear, there are moments when I went to go stay with my fiance, and I was moments where I looked at him and I was like, yo, this guy's lips is not even moving right now. Like, and then me, I'm busting out laughing, and I'm sure people were like, what the hell is this girl laughing at this theater? I'm like, yo, like, are we watching this right now? And I know you mentioned you thought your audio was like...
Yeah, I thought my audio and the video was out of sync or something,
Yeah, it wasn't good. And so one thing I will say is, like how you said, there was a lot of wasted talent, is that I do feel if we had a better villain and not had this ADR situation, like that could have just gave the movie so much more like points, I guess, because like even if the movie was just as bad, I feel like made it the absolute worst that the villain wasn't good. Like, I feel like if we just had a better villain and not this dialogue issue, that would have been a little bit better. But there's still like dialogue issues, story issues, all of that on top of that. So sorry to Tahir Rahim. I'm sure you're great, but they did you dirty.
Yeah, I might have to give the villain a thumbs down on that one.
Yeah, 2 thumbs down. Like, I think Adam Scott did great as
Uncle Ben.
Spoiler alert, Uncle Ben. I guess young Uncle Ben, and apparently we see his sister-in-law give birth at the end of the movie, and that's supposed to be Peter Parker, even though they never say the name Peter. They say Parker, they say Ben, but they never say Peter.
Yeah, which I think is dumb.
Because some fans love Easter eggs, so I'm like, these Easter eggs were just kind of just annoying.
Yeah.
Like, there's a moment where she's at Mary Parker's baby shower, and they're like, guess the name. And I swear she was like just about to say Peter, but then Uncle Ben comes rushing in the room because she has to go to like a fire emergency because she's an EMT. So it's like, and then at the very end of the movie, when they're like rocking the new baby, like they don't even say like, oh, meet Peter. Like, and you always think they're just about to say it, and they never said it.
Like in the very beginning when her mom is in the jungle of Peru and they looking for the spider, that has these magical healing properties.
Yes.
Even from that start right there, just the camera by itself, the focus was off. It just looked blurry. It almost looked like you was filming from a cell phone that was actually made in 2000, whatever that was. That was.
I guess that would have been like 2002, or the whole movie is supposed to be set in 2003. So that's one thing.
Oh, so that was even in the past, even more in the past. They really didn't. I don't remember if they specified what year it was that it started off when the mom was in the jungle looking for the spiders.
But the movie takes place in 2003.
Right. Ezekiel, the bad guy, right? He comes and he steals the spider and shoots the mom and everybody that was there and leaves them to die. So then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, some spider people come from the trees and save her.
Yes, they saved the mom.
And they
The
brought her
pregnant
to
mom.
some cave, and then they had a spider bite her, and I guess that was the spider with the healing properties. So she died, the mom died, but the baby lived on, which is Madam Web. But at that point, you had the creepy spider people.
They look like, they spider people that live in a jungle. Like,
Yeah, it was like the webs that Spider-Man has on his suit is actually made of like fucking twigs.
like the vines.
In the shape of the Spider-Man's web,
Yeah.
and it just looked weird. And after the baby is born, one of the guys that saved her, the spider people person, says, well, I'll be there when you need me, and then he just stays in the cave. And then it just changes to 2003. We don't know what happened in those years.
No. Well,
So how did she get a
New York.
passport to come to the United States? It's all type of, I don't know, it's green card issues maybe, huh?
And then whenever she goes back, and there's a moment where she's just like, I gotta go figure out like my origins or something, and she just catches the next flight to Peru from New York, and she goes exactly, I guess, to where her mom is in the jungle. And when the guy approaches her, he looks like just a researcher guy, and he doesn't look creepy anymore. And I'm like,
yeah, he talks perfect English. And,
yeah,
it's
he's just like, I was waiting for you or something.
Yeah, I was like, come on, man.
And so that was funny. I thought it was funny because she just like calls Uncle Ben and she's like, hey, take these 3 girls that she kind of kidnapped and watch them for me because I got to go to Peru real quick.
Yeah, so you're going to leave 3 teenage girls with a stranger.
Another stranger because they don't even know her.
Yeah, I'm like, come on, man.
So yeah, and then...
This is New York. I'm just saying that's
you can, and then the girls, they just go with anybody.
Yeah.
Like, what the
This
hell?
is New York in the
like,
early 2000s.
They're like, I ran away from home, and then one's like, my dad got deported, and then the other one's like,
oh yeah, let's go back to that. Why does the Spanish ones, the dad got deported? What the fuck, man? That's like...
You don't like that?
No, I'm like... Why the Spanish person always got to get deported? Their parents is deported. What's up with that?
We need to switch it up.
Yeah, you know.
Maybe a Canadian.
The 3 chicks, inside the bar, the diner.
Oh yeah.
And then Sydney Sweeney sees those young boys,
and she's shy.
And it takes the other Spider Woman to say, just go
tie your
over
shirt
there.
right
Yeah,
here.
just tie it. I'm tired. I'm like, next thing you know, they're like fucking dancing on the boys' table.
If I was the damn the lady filling up cups, I would have been like, get your ass off the damn table.
I'm like, yo, what kind of fucking facility is this?
No, and then Madam Web or Dakota Johnson is pissed. She walks in and they're all like, ooh, ooh, ooh.
No, it's Britney Spears.
Toxic.
Yeah. And Sydney Sweeney's up there with her little mini skirt, and the boys are like, woo, woo, woo.
No,
I'm like, come on, dog.
I know, and then wasn't she just shy?
Yeah, and then she put on her glasses and said, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, yo, that's some Pornhub shit right there.
No, and then, that's like the role that Sydney Sweeney plays in everything.
Yeah,
But, I guess good for her.
Yeah, good for her.
Good for her.
So go for it. What's the day?
Today's the 19th.
The 19th. And let's say, how long did she stay in Peru?
Like a day, I think.
Like a day?
Well, I mean, who knows how long she was walking.
Okay. Well, let's give her the benefit of the doubt.
2 days.
And say she came back on the 22nd.
Are you trying to see what is the...
I'm gonna see how much it costs to go today to Peru from New York, round trip.
How much?
Surprisingly, not that bad.
It's actually like way more affordable than fucking going from here to New York.
Yeah, this is JFK to Peru round trip in 2024. It's $550. And that's for me buying it today and coming back to what's today?
Today's Monday.
Monday. Coming back Wednesday.
But then she's like walking around in the jungle, and we technically don't know if she was there for a day or two. You know?
No, then she spots the same tree. A tree.
Well, she had a map, but the map basically was could have been just like a fucking. It might as well have been just like a treasure map that have like the dashes and the X.
Yeah, because I don't understand how she saw the same tree from the. Was it a picture? It was an old picture.
It was a picture of her mom.
From when her mom was there.
Yeah.
And she saw the same tree. Now, I can't fucking spot a tree, the same one, in my backyard. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're going to go to the jungle. But that's the movies, I guess, you know. I guess they do it for the movie to happen. So Mike Epps is my dude, you know what I'm saying? And it was just waste. I couldn't understand how he agreed to take a role and then die like 15 minutes into the movie and shit. You know what I'm saying? And like, granted, he wasn't the first one to die because he was black and shit, you know?
Well, was he?
No, it was the mom that died first, remember?
Oh,
and
yeah,
all them
that's
villagers
right.
there. So, I'll at least he wasn't the first one, you know? But he died 15 minutes later.
Well, first of all, we got introduced to his character in one scene and he's flipping burgers. And then the next scene, like, I guess they're all EMT or firefighters at this party that they were at. And then, so Uncle Ben's like, come on, we gotta go. And getting Dakota Johnson. And they go. And then, like, literally the next scene we see Mike Epps in, he dies.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I thought he was gonna come back to life. Or I thought that, like...
It was gonna, like...
I thought it was gonna restart, like, with her powers. Because she had saw the vision of his car getting hit. And she's like, no, don't go. And he's like, girl, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Basically. And then she was just like... She didn't fight it hard enough for me. You know, I would have been like, no! Like, you know?
Yeah.
But she just like, she was just standing there like, and then she turns around and his car gets
hit by a big ass truck.
Yeah, and then he dies. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
But still, I would have liked to see his character more, or I don't know. I think we just like Mike Epps.
Yeah, I mean, I was disappointed, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, hey, I guess it happened to happen, so the movie could happen and shit. The other character is Adam Scott's character, and he's Uncle Ben.
Mm-hmm. And he does really good.
Yeah, like I said, there's so much talent on, you know, these guys. Like, you know, this guy he's a big talent, you know, and he played his part well. So, but I don't think he was really a necessary piece to the movie. I think they didn't have to make him Uncle Ben. They could have just made him just regular guy, you know?
Yeah, he could have just been like her best work friend.
Yeah, but they just made him Uncle Ben for some reason. If you don't know the comic books too well and you prefer watching it, if you go on the Disney Plus and you get on the watch the Spider-Man, you remember the cartoons that we used to watch like after school and stuff? So it's the animated Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. And if you watch that, they have I want to say it's a 4-part. It could be 2-part, but I want to say it's a 4-part story about Madam Web. And it actually concludes with Spider-Man swinging on a web with Stan Lee, holding Stan Lee as a cartoon character.
Aww.
But that one, if you want to see anything that has Madam Web in it, that's not a comic book, that one is a good route to go because it was a good storyline. That series was very good. The Spider-Man series. So, just a little plug for them.
So is there anything else you want to say about Madam Web?
I have a lot, but I'm thinking, we need to go.
I think that this is even worth, because I saw it and then like in the moment I was like, you know what? Like it was bad, but people are like being like the people you see on TikTok and just online talking about it, they're like almost like angry.
Yeah.
They're too angry. I'm telling you, just go see it with friends, knowing that it's gonna be silly. Drink some beers, and you guys will definitely laugh at moments that are not supposed to be laughed at.
To make it even more fun, what you should do is add a laugh track to the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
I'm telling you, there's some spots that's just comical.
I was the laugh track in the theater.
Yeah.
I was, because I was cracking up laughing. I was like, why the fuck would she say that?
Yeah. And don't let me even start talking about her. She's a paramedic, but she does CPR wrong. And she's teaching it wrong. So I won't even go there. I'll let you guys comment on that.
So I think overall we give it a thumbs down.
Yeah, that was definitely thumbs down.
But I'm gonna give it one thumbs down and one thumbs up because it's giving us so much to talk about. Like this week on the internet has been so funny. Everybody's takes is so funny. And yeah, let's not have bad ADR in films because it can just tank your whole film.
Yeah, that's Kung Pao.
Yeah.
See, you can make it. I implore you to reconsider. Okay.
So on the same day that
Was it the same day?
the same
Oh,
day
yeah,
that
the
Madam
same
Web
day.
came out,
They announced.
that Fantastic Four.
Yes. Well, they announced, finally confirmed that we are getting a new Fantastic Four. Obviously, people have been knowing about it for a little bit, but we never really knew who the cast was going to be. And so they released a poster. All the castmates like released posters on their Instagrams. Of course, I saw it on Pedro Pascal's Instagram because I love Pedro Pascal. And it's confirmed that he is going to be Reed Richards, so Mr. Fantastic. So he's stretchy,
Yeah,
but he's smart. And then
He's the smartest. He's the smartest in the universe.
of course we have Pedro Pascal, who is the Mandalorian. He was in Narcos for a little while, for like 3 seasons. He was in The Last of Us, and of course he's just awesome.
He's awesome, but let's not let's wipe away from when he was on Wonder Woman. Or was it Wonder Woman?
Yes.
Yeah, let's not talk about that.
I was just talking about that the other day, and I was like, yo, they did my man Pedro dirty. Like, I was getting worried. I'm like, he better do good because the Wonder Woman, again, like Madam Web,
Yeah.
like as a whole, that movie just like wasn't good. But you can't give him his good Mando.
Yeah.
And Joel on The Last of Us, and yeah.
So this is what I'm thinking, like, because he got cast to do Fantastic Four, and in the second season of The Last of Us is supposed to start filming. So in the games, if you're familiar with the games.
Wait, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. If you're familiar with the games, Joel dies.
Yeah,
So-
but I don't think that season 2. So season 1 was the entire first game, but I don't think that they're gonna do the entire second game for season 2 because Pedro is such a star that I think that he will last to 3 seasons.
I don't know.
I think they're gonna stretch it out because there's more people's stories being told.
So it's not like when he was the Mandalorian and he didn't have to be there. It was just his voice that had to be there.
Yeah.
So this is Fantastic Four. He has to be there.
I feel like he's like in the prime of his career. He's in what? He's like in his 50s, but he's been like trying to be he's been working at this for like a long time since he was in college. And I feel like finally he's kind of like in his like era where everybody is finally realizing that he's awesome. He's just a good star and he's a good face to have on the screen.
Yeah.
Obviously we know that he's fantastic in television, but I feel like his movie roles have not been as good as his television roles. So hopefully, like, you know, this will finally like be the best movie role for him. Yeah, so like Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm, she was in Mission Impossible, and she's in the Fast and Furious Hobbs and Shaw, and I'm not sure, she came back in Fast 10. Everybody came back in Fast 10 if y'all saw that. And then for Yvonne, who is cousin from The Bear, I watched Girls on HBO, it's just a great show. And he was on that show too. And that was a long time ago. So again, like another actor like Pedro, Yvonne has been in the acting world for so long. So it's so nice to see that he's like finally like, you know, getting recognized for his work too. And then of course we have Joseph Quinn as the Human Torch, Johnny Storm. And we know him from Stranger Things. And he's gonna be in the new Quiet Place with Lupita.
So that fella right there, that young guy,
Joseph
the
Quinn.
Torch, yeah. So that's actually a good casting because in the comic books, the Torch and Spider-Man are actually good friends, and you know, because they're around the same age and they can relate to a lot of things. So I think that, you know, moving on, especially when the Fantastic Four fall into place, I think that if they do the right thing as far as like, you know, just kind of go working like what the comics have already established, I think that it could be a good casting.
Yeah, I think it'll be good too. I know a lot of people are like, oh, the first ones with Jessica Alba, like it's never gonna top that, but it's just like, yes it is. Like, you know, we are just feeling nostalgic, and those movies weren't, I mean, they were good for our, I don't know what it was, but they weren't great.
Yeah, so I think it's about time that they do the Fantastic Four right. You know, I mean, that is the first family for the Marvel world. You know, that's their first, Stan Lee, his first comic book hero. You know, and they just keep on messing it up. You know, back in the 80s, I want to say they came out with some movie that, you know, just to maintain the character, the studio, they made a movie of the Fantastic Four, which was trash. And then and it was supposed to never be released. But of course, you know, people get their hands on it. And then, you know, with the Jessica Alba ones, the first, what is it?
With Chris Evans.
Yeah, Dr. Doom and Silver Surfer, and then what was it? Dr. Doom first for the first movie.
Quicksilver.
And then
Silver Surfer.
Then for the second one is Silver Surfer and Dr. Doom. They just didn't do the characters, you know, the what they deserve, you know. And I don't think it's because, I think it's also because of the technology, like CGI and what have you, but the story writing wasn't on point, you know. And now with the MCU, you know, when Iron Man kicked it off, I think that set a new standard, you know what I'm saying, for it. Now, I'm gonna bite my tongue on that one because of that movie that they did with Fantastic Four that they had
in like 2015.
Yeah, in 2015.
With Michael B. Jordan.
That whole casting.
They also had Dr. Doom in that movie as well.
Yeah, that whole casting was wrong. The whole movie was wrong. I mean, for Christ's sake, they didn't even give the Thing freaking pants. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm like, come on, man. So I'm gonna remember to forget that movie.
Okay, yeah, I think that's good. I think that everyone should forget that movie, and I don't know, I think that we deserve to just go into this one with a clean slate. Like, I know people are getting tired of remakes, and you know, people are tired of big IP movies getting made, but I think that we should give this one a good chance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious to see what's going to happen, especially now that they say that they're going to bring the Fantastic Four into the mix, because the Fantastic Four have a huge role in what the storyline is supposed to be. And right now with Jonathan Majors being fired and Kang not being uh, the main antagonist for the Avengers movie, that I think they even changed the name already, or they're about to, like what was it, Kang Dynasty? It's no long. I don't believe it's the Kang Dynasty anymore. So, which just goes to show you that, they have a plan in place, and like I said, the Fantastic Four has a huge part to play in whatever the outcome of Secret Wars is going to be after the Avengers Dynasty movie. I mean, yeah, the Kang Dynasty movie. So I think that's number 6, right? The Avengers number 6, I want to say it is
I think so.
the Secret Wars. So the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man,
And
Loki.
Oh, and Deadpool.
And with Deadpool coming, they all have a huge part to play, and I'm just curious as to see how they're gonna go ahead and gel it all. If they do this new phase like they did the original phases with the Infinity Saga, the Marvel should have bounced back, because you have a good storyline. The only thing is that you have to figure out what you're gonna do about Kang. And my opinion is that now that the Fantastic Four is coming into the mix, they should bring the Doctor Doom in like he is in the comic books, and Doctor Doom, he'll be in charge. He'll be the Thanos character, and in which you have
Secret
to.
Wars.
Yeah, he'll be like kind of like how the Thanos did in the Infinity Saga, but he'll be Doctor Doom instead. So I think that if they do it right, it should work out right. If they just can't mess with the continuity, and that's what pisses me off sometimes about some of these movies, that they want to tell a different story from the comic books, but then they mess up the continuity, and then it's like they painting themselves into a corner.
Yeah.
So like with the Quicksilver thing, they killed off Quicksilver, but then X-Men, they still have their Quicksilver, but now who owns Fox? Disney. So now what they're gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So this is something that it might come up. Spoiler alert. In Deadpool. You know how Deadpool was
Deadpool's
fixing.
meta though, so Deadpool will be like, "Oh, you thought Fox had it? Or whatever the hell it is." Like Deadpool's just gonna like tell us.
Yeah.
He's not gonna let us like be wondering.
Yeah. So, and that's the thing, is like, that's what I see once when it comes out. It comes out, I want to say July,
I hope
summertime
so,
movie.
I can't wait.
So when I want to see that one, because I'm curious to see how everything is going to turn out, because you saw at the end of the last Deadpool, he was messing with all type of timelines and changing stuff and bringing people back, like the nerd guy that died that was on his team.
And then we see in the trailer, the new trailer that just came out, that Deadpool gets shown around the TVA from Loki, and he's like, "Oh, so pretty much I'm the Jesus of the Marvel universe."
Yeah, so I think that's going to be fun. I think that movie's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. We're going to have Wolverine, and people are saying that Taylor Swift is going to make a cameo as a Dazzler. But I saw a picture of the Dazzler comic, and she has like, flowing hair, and she's holding a microphone. I think it'll be a cameo to get y'all in the theaters, but don't be upset when she's just on screen for 5 minutes.
Yeah, or like the Spider-Woman in the like 30 seconds.
Oh yeah, if we just see her for 30 seconds in the future. Well, it's a TVA. So maybe like in this world, Taylor Swift is actually the Dazzler, but she's also Taylor Swift.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, but I think that we can dive into like more into like Deadpool and Loki on our next episode.
Yeah.
For our last subject, just because we both finished a series at the same time, usually one of us hasn't seen, or not all up to date. Usually like, oh, I'm a whole season behind or something, you know? But we both kept up to date with this new season of True Detective, season 4, Night Country with Jodie Foster. And Jodie Foster, I will say, like, she goes away for years and then she comes back, and like I swear I've seen like three things for her, and I'm like, okay, like, you know, get your bag, girl. Because I just off topic of True Detective, she is nominated for an Oscar for a movie called Naiad as supporting actress.
Isn't that on Netflix?
Yes,
Yeah.
and I liked it. It was pretty good. It was about the lady who swam from Cuba to Florida.
That's right. Yeah. I saw it.
At 60 something years old. Super stressful, but you know, she plays the partner of the woman, or like the best friend / partner of the woman who did that, and she does really good. I like Jodie Foster. I always have liked her, and she's good, and she's a good detective. Like I believe that she can solve a crime.
I like her. I like her too. I've always liked her acting. She's a great actor, you know. And her sidekick wasn't too bad either.
Navarro, yes.
Yeah.
Her name is Callie Reyes as Trooper Evangeline Navarro.
Yeah. She does a really good job. She plays a native Alaskan,
Yes.
and but she's also, you know, the law. So they apparently they used to work together at one point until they had, you know, an issue, and they split up. They split them up, and she went to be a Alaska State Trooper, and Jodie Foster went on to the Alaska Police Department to work for them.
It's set in like a small town in Alaska.
Yeah.
And in this town, you know, it's like they said in the show in the last episode, like that town has been there since anybody has been there. It was there before that place was even called Alaska, you know. So the natives that live there, there's just a lot of, you know, like different spirituality, belief, and just a way of life. And so the whole thing that was happening in the show is there's a mysterious death, like in all the True Detective seasons, but it's like the death of a group of scientists that they found frozen out in the, I guess it was the ocean, kind of.
Yeah, it was like on probably like a
Frozen
lake
ocean.
or something.
And it looks scary, you know. They played into the paranormal aspect of it, or like, you know, spiritual aspect of it. And so they didn't really know if this was like human, or they were making us feel like, oh, like, no, this was not human, like that could have did this. But the death of this group of scientists somehow connected to a death of a native woman 2 years prior to that. And Navarro just like knew in her bones that they had to be connected, and she was right. Ended up all being connected. These scientists, spoiler alert, were doing this research that could save the world, but they were on purpose polluting the water and the resources of the town, which throughout the entire season, the people who are native to that town are protesting, you know, get the miners out. Like, there was like 6 stillbirths in like a month or something like that, because the water is like black, and they were right. And then the people were telling them that they're not right, like they were being like paranoid or crazy, and it's like, no, they were right. Like, their water was purposely being polluted just for these scientists, and it was being covered up because these scientists were like, I don't know, discovering something that could save the world. I don't even know what that was.
Yeah, so from my understanding, it was the permafrost. So I guess there was a chemical that the mine, was it a coal mine? It might have been like, it was some sort of mine. I want to say it was a coal mine, but it was the pollutants from that coal mine were making the permafrost
like easier to get to. Or
Well,
get.
it was it was making it. I guess the chemical reaction with the permafrost was making the solution for a disease, a cure for a disease. You know that you can use that for a cure for a disease. But the scientists needed for them to even pollute it even more. So they had an agreement with the mine company, and there was like throughout a few episodes, there was a younger cop that he was doing this the internet sleuth type of guy, and he was finding out different information about that company and who was behind it, and he was getting paid to do what. So he discovered somehow that there was a payoff, and that I want to say that he put together that it was the coal miners and the scientists. I want to say that they were in cahoots now to go ahead and start, creating more pollutants, so this way the scientists could get their permafrost.
Yeah, and then they also had some people from the police department helping them cover up their crimes. Their crimes of both faking the numbers of the real like pollution numbers, and another crime, of course, covering up a murder.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I thought the last 2 episodes like were not slow. Like a whole bunch of shit was happening, and I am pretty like I thought it was really good. Like I was satisfied with the like ending. Like we actually had answers to it all. The things that seemed to be paranormal activity were not so much paranormal. It was more of like the native people that live on that land taking things into their own hands, but they stick together so much to where like the police authority, like nobody would talk to them. So and like it kind of seemed like it was not human things that were happening, but really the natives just stuck together so much, and they kind of took out their own trash. And yeah, like the main lady, who she was like a janitor lady who worked in the science lab, she was badass.
Yeah,
she said and I was like, y'all better go.
That was Rose. She wound up being a good character.
Wait, Rose is who?
Rose is the lady who helped the son of the guy that got killed.
No, but I'm talking about the janitor lady. The one that Navarro was talking to at the end. When they went to her house and then they told her the whole story.
Oh yeah.
Like she was badass, but Rose was badass too.
Yeah, she was. That other lady, she was tough, but she was. She was tough.
She was.
You seen why all her girls came into the back? She was like, "Yo, what's up?"
They wasn't gonna mess with her.
But then I would have came back and arrested her ass.
No, you can't.
Why?
Because they agreed with what they did.
So, but was there? So were they? So were they on duty?
They were.
They were off duty. Remember, they closed the case.
Well, they were there on official. They were still investigating.
So that's an admission, a confession. I would have came back and arrested that old lady.
No, well, they got the No, because I mean, basically, they got an arrest, they got a confession out of that guy. They recorded his confession on the phone.
Yeah.
And then Navarro, she basically like got his confession and she let him go out and freeze to death. Because he was like, please kill me, please. So she gave him what he wanted, but he gave her what she wanted.
Yeah.
So that's why he recorded the whole confession. So they were able to actually close that case.
Yeah. No, it was. I like how
it was good.
It was a slow burn for the past few episodes.
But True Detective is always like that.
Yeah, it was a slow burn for the past. But the last 2 episodes was when everything started clearing up and they started, and I was just shocked. Spoiler alert! When they killed the Hank. Hank is the father of the other police, the young policeman.
Pryor.
Yeah, Pryor. So I was shocked that
he was
the
about to
son shot him in the head. I mean, he couldn't shoot him in the chest and shit. like like
Yeah,
on the
that's
leg.
true.
But he's just shot. Did you see
he
his
said
tooth?
no.
And
Yeah,
his tooth got stuck in the wall.
Yo, that's fucked up. If I was that kid,
Which one? The
the
Pryor?
one who killed his own dad,
Yeah.
and then he had to dump him in the ice.
Yeah.
Like, you think that you would just be normal after that?
And then go to work.
Yeah,
And then,
and then he brought her a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
He was like, the lady he killed his dad for. But like, I mean, his dad was about to kill her. Like, don't act like he was about to shoot her in the chest.
No, I know.
Like,
But
he's
that's
about to
your
kill
dad,
her.
though. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I would like, instead of shoot like this, I would be like this.
Yeah, but his dad basically admitted right before he got shot, he admitted that he helped move the body of that girl.
Yeah.
And that case, moved the whole fucking town. Like, so
Yo, do you know all of them jokers was fucking corrupt and shit?
all of them. Well, that's what we saw.
Yeah,
at the
Navarro killed Wheeler, and then
end. And
then Jodie Foster stole heroin to get that guy.
No, also, first of all, there's not one.
And
husband.
she's the chief of police.
There
and
was
shit.
not one husband that she didn't sleep with in that.
Oh
town.
yeah, she was.
That's why every woman who she walked up to, they were like, "Wow, I can't believe you're here." And then the husband was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah,
here?" I was like, "Damn,
It
girl."
was like, yo, she banged the whole town.
The whole entire town.
And she's the chief.
The chief of police. I'm like, did they have a choice in this? Like, she's overusing her power.
I know, right? Yo, and then her own captain and shit. She was banging her own
No, yeah,
captain.
and then they fucking hate each other.
You know, I tell
Like,
you.
she was like, they was just.
And then the women, they be like, he's banging her and shit, right? I'm like, yo,
they said that like 15
it's
times.
like if Jodie Foster is like hot or some shit.
And the thing is, like, Jodie Foster is a lesbian in real life.
Yeah,
And then
she's-
they made her like some like
a little
a
hotness,
harlot. But
breaking up marriages and shit.
multiple marriages. I mean, she probably could, but still, I thought that was funny. And I don't know, I just thought like the whole thing was like kind of really sad too. Because it's like these people have these companies in their town polluting their water, and this is like an indigenous community, and they basically, had to take things into their own hands. And by the end of it, Jodie Foster dealing with her like stepdaughter, like kind of being in the protests and stuff too, she's kind of has to see it from their side too.
Yeah.
So like by the end of it, like they're letting the indigenous people have their justice. And so I thought that was nice. And then the Navarro of it all, I guess she killed herself.
So that's the thing is like, it was up there, the question remained if she had done it or not. Because at the end, you saw that they were both on the same balcony in the backyard.
Yeah.
But they were separated by the curtain when they were both standing on the porch. Jodie Foster was sitting and Navarro was standing on the right side.
Yeah, but that was like her ghost.
That's what's implied, but maybe not. They didn't show her, she was walking towards the abyss or whatever.
Yeah.
But they didn't say that, they
she
didn't show.
survive that.
But that's what's implied. It's implied.
Okay, so that's gonna wrap it up for our first episode. I think next time for sure on the slate, we're gonna talk about Deadpool and Loki.
Deadpool and Loki, okay.
And then, but we want to talk about like the connections that could happen with the TVA.
Yeah, so.
Save it.
Okay.
And then of course whatever we just been watching.
Yeah.
So we'll come.
And if
we'll
you
come
want
back.
us to talk about something in particular, just hit us up on the notifications.
Yes, I think we're only sticking to shows and movies.
And collectibles, comic books, maybe, we'll do every once in a while. I'll plan on doing a comic book walkthrough.
So yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for our next episode, and subscribe to our channel.
Yeah, like and subscribe.